Good day, beautiful people of Nigeria. I'm Ruth, connecting with you here in Urbanpop Radio, all the way from Kwara State. Today in Urbanpop Radio, we'll be having a session tagged Know Your Rights section, and the topic for our discussion will be: Can a woman own or acquire property in her name here in Nigeria? As a young girl growing up back then, I was misled into believing that as a woman, to actually purchase or own a property, you have to purchase in your husband's name, your father's name, or your brother's name. But I can tell you by virtue of education and exposure that no law in Nigeria restricts a woman from owning a property in her name. So you don't have to purchase a property in your husband's name or your father's name or your brother's name for the ownership to be valid. You can own your property. You can register your property in your name. You can buy land in your name. You can buy any property of your choice in your name as far as Nigeria is concerned. And there are laws backing this up, like Article 17, Sub 1 and 2 of a Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that everyone has the right to own property alone, as well as in association with others, and no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his property. That's to tell you that as a woman, you can own your property in your name. You can decide to own it alone. You can decide to register your property in your name, or be a co-ownership with your husband if you so desire. Then Section 43 of the Nigerian Constitution also provides that citizens shall have the right to own and acquire immovable property anywhere in Nigeria. That's to tell you that as a woman, you can decide to own property anywhere in Nigeria, not necessarily where you are from or where your husband is from. You can purchase property with your money anywhere in Nigeria, and your ownership of that property will be valid. Even the Land Use Act, that it's the law regulating land ownership here in Nigeria, also provides for women's rights to own property. I've actually heard of issues where a man forces his wife to a kind of register her property in his name just to keep the marriage going. I can say that it's barbaric for any man in this 21st century to behave like that, because as a woman, you can own property in your name regardless if you are married or if you are single. So you don't need to be cajoled by any custom. You don't need to be cajoled by anyone to register your property in your husband's name or your father's name, your brother's name. Register your property in your name. Thank you so much for joining us in our today's session of Know Your Rights here in Urban Pop Radio. And don't forget, to know your rights is to know when to seek redress. To know your rights is your weapon of defense. And if you don't know your rights, if you won't even know when your right is being infringed upon in the first place. Join us next week. Don't forget to follow us, Urban Pop Radio NG, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on all social media handles.